only thing of yours I couldn't bring myself to discard is this poetry notebook. For someone like me who grew up with writing, who breathed life into each line and found it my only true refuge, this notebook is more than paper and ink. It's a small flicker of hope, a fragile light keeping me from collapse. Each word, each phrase is a lifeline cast into the void, pulling me back from the edge. I've come to understand that I'm not a complete person. I never was. It seems that from the very beginning, I was destined to carry holes within me, spaces I tried to fill with words. Recently, I asked someone a question. Is it even necessary to throw away the keepsakes of those who are no longer in our lives? Can we truly shed those small fragments of the people we've loved, as if they were leaves drifting away with seasons? The answer I received was this. Our character, our manner of speaking, our most private gestures, even our habits take shape in relation to people. There is an intangible presence they left behind. A memory that embeds itself in our skin, in the spaces between our words, in our silences. Like a familiar phrase that echoes in our mind, a scent that fills the air unexpectedly, or the hazy outline of a face, half remembered, half forgotten. These things cling to us, follow us, imprint themselves on us, silent specters from the past. But physical things, the keepsakes, are just the casualties of separation. They are the things that we purge quickly, almost ruthlessly, as if casting off fate to keep from sinking. Yet I wonder, does it ever work? Can we ever truly cleanse ourselves of those who we've lost? If you look closely, you will see. You can't erase the scent of that person, lingering like a shadow. You can't delete the picture of a shared memory that replays itself in fragments, a series of flashing images in the back of your mind. Like a street in a city, a particular corner, a certain kind of light that only belonged to 1 hour, one place, one person. Today I was thinking of our last conversation in Tehran, the last time we stood side by side on the street under the same sky. A sky stretched like a vast canopy shared by the split between us, heavy with unspoken words. Everything was tense. You were arguing with me. Yet behind the anger, behind the raised voices, there was a sadness too thick to speak of. The last time we were together on that street, you shouted at me. You got into a taxi and I watched you as you turned away. You went back to your apartment to pack a half-filled suitcase, to prepare yourself for a flight that would carry you away from Iran forever. I stood there, stunned, caught in that single moment like a steel frame, frozen. For minutes, or perhaps it was just seconds, I stood on that road, the name of which I don't even know, and watched the cars tangled in traffic, headlights bleeding into the dusk. Exactly 24 hours later, you were gone. And yet on our bodies remained the imprint of a specific hour, a magical moment we only know, an ink trace on our wrists, a language only we understand. At first, it was as if I could feel your absence in the air, a void, an echo of something that once filled the space around me. I walked through places we once knew, and I could almost hear your footsteps beside me, almost catch your shadow at the corner of my eye. But days blurred into weeks, and slowly your absence became familiar emptiness, a silence that wrapped around me, like a song played so often it becomes part of the air. And now, after a year, here we are beneath the same sky, in the same land again. I wonder, do you still remember? Do you still carry the last memory of us? Our last goodbye? Time changes us. It sculpts us, chiseling away at the rough edges, smoothing over the hurts, polishing our sharpest memories until they're soft, bearable. I know this. And yet, sometimes, I wish I could reach across this invisible distance, touch that place within you where I still remain, if I remain at all. Because here, in this quiet moment, with words on a page, I am reaching for something more than memory. I am reaching for a truth, a presence that refuses to fade, a connection bound not by time or space, but by something more profound. Something that ink and paper can only attempt to hold. Maybe that's why I couldn't bring myself to discard this notebook. It's not just paper and ink. Each line is a thread, binding me to those fleeting, fragmented moments, to the person you were and to the person I was when I stood in that street watching you leave. And maybe that's the reason behind all writings. A quiet release, a letting go not of the memory itself, but of the weight it holds over me. A gentle unfolding, allowing the past to settle, like dust, in its rightful place. While I stand here, beneath this vast, open sky, unbound and free.